It is officially September. And do you know what that means? Yes, it means back to school and all things pumpkin spice and my very favorite anticipation of fall. It does mean all of those things. And according to organizations that have the power to declare such things, September also means National Fruits and Veggies Month. Actually, this was created by the Produce for Better Health Foundation as part of their Have a Plant movement, which aims to encourage more plant-based food consumption. And in theory, I am on board with the idea of such a month. The goal of campaigns like this one, of course, is to draw attention to their cause. In this case, eating more fruits and veggies. Again, sounds good in theory. But in reality, and often in practice, these campaigns are marketed with incredible rainbow-colored snack boards, perfectly arranged fruit and veggie platters, and smiling kids crunching on raw bell peppers and peas fresh from the pod. Which is nice. And for many people, that might be their reality. But it might not be what happens for all families or even most families. And in many houses, maybe even yours, getting produce on the table looks more like dumping frozen peas into a bowl, hoping that someone will eat them, or slicing cucumbers for lunchboxes, or celebrating if a child eats one baby carrot without complaint. And you know what? That's okay. Because I'm here today to remind you that small, consistent steps matter far more than those Pinterest-perfect snack boards. So let's back up for a second and talk about why fruits and veggies matter. Because the research on this is solid. Eating more produce, and a wide variety of produce at that, lowers the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and even some cancers. It supports healthy weight and weight maintenance, and it gives all people, kids especially, fiber for healthy digestion, vitamin C for immunity, and antioxidants for brain development. And maybe even more importantly than all of those benefits, eating produce regularly builds patterns that kids will carry into adulthood. And in case you're wondering, is this really a big deal? Here is a statistic that might surprise you. 1 in 10 kids in the United States eats the recommended amount of fruits and vegetables each day. So yes, the gap is real. But here's the flip side. We all know fruits and veggies are often more expensive. They are less convenient and harder to get your kids, and maybe even some adults in your life, to eat them compared to packaged alternatives. And it's not just a failure of your parenting, of course, when your kids aren't eating as many fruits and veggies as they should. It is often a part of the system that we live in as well. So instead of chasing a total diet overhaul this September, I want you to focus on something that's more realistic, small, doable wins that fit into your life. How? Well, here are some ideas that might actually work. Number 1 is start with one. One fruit, one veggie. Add one each day this week. That might mean apple slices at breakfast or throwing an extra handful of spinach into your scrambled eggs. It doesn't have to be big in order to make a difference. And if one each day feels like too much, then start with one this week. Number 2, remember that frozen counts. Frozen produce is picked and frozen at its peak ripeness, so it's often more affordable and cooks up very fast and easy. And while it may be used to get a bad rap, frozen produce, in my opinion, it is a lifesaver. You can toss frozen spinach into pasta sauce or throw frozen berries into a smoothie. Frozen vegetables have saved more dinners in my house than I care to admit, and oddly enough, it's frozen green peas that are one of the few veggies my 13-year-old son actually likes and asks for. So I buy them without hesitation. All right, number 3, cans count as well. Frozen and canned beans, corn, tomatoes, these are staples in my house. Rinse them if you want to cut the sodium, and you've got a quick, affordable way to add plants to anything you're making. Number 4, let your kids choose. When you're at the store, bring them along and let your child pick one fruit or vegetable, even if it's something random or new that they've never tried. Giving them ownership over this can make it more likely that they will try that new thing. try, but it certainly does not guarantee that they will. When my son was 5, he begged me to bring home an eggplant. His eyes were so wide with excitement, I couldn't say no. So we brought the eggplant home and searched for a recipe. And that night, when I brought the roasted eggplant to the table, he eyed it skeptically, took one small taste, and spit it out. But I'm telling you, that little taste still counts. I counted the win. Number 5, make fruits and veggies easy. So, as with anything, visibility matters. If the grapes are washed and ready in a bowl, they will get eaten. If apple slices are prepped and sitting on the counter when your kids come home from school, someone will grab them. We all, kids and adults alike, eat more of what is right in front of us. Now, I do want to acknowledge this one thing. Sometimes produce and fresh produce, it isn't an option. Maybe you live in an area where the nearest grocery store with affordable produce is 20 minutes away. Maybe it's February and strawberries are $6 a pint and they end up rotting in the fridge. Maybe you're juggling sports and homework and work deadlines and dinner, and the idea of peeling carrots just feels impossible. Remember that if these describe you, you are not failing. Sometimes it's a system that fails us. So, if you are lacking access, sometimes local solutions matter. School meal programs, community gardens, co-ops, farmers markets, and subsidies. These all can help make affordable produce that typically isn't. And so while it's important to pay attention to national campaigns, know that sometimes the more impactful decisions and actions we take are ones that are closer to home. Okay, here's the most important thing I want to leave you with here today. Celebrate the small wins that you do have. National campaigns can sometimes backfire because instead of inspiring us, they can make us feel guilty for not doing enough. So here's my challenge for you. Don't let that guilt stop you from making at least one small change, and then make sure that you are acknowledging and focusing on that little bit of progress. If your family eats one more veggie this week than it did last week, that's a win. If your child tries the green beans, even if they don't like them, that is also a win. If you manage to get frozen broccoli served alongside pasta this week instead of skipping a vegetable altogether, yes, that's a win too. This is how kids learn to eat more variety, not all at once, not in 1 month, but through repeated low-pressure exposure. Sometimes that means 12 tries. Sometimes it means 20. Sometimes it takes months. But little by little, those wins add up. So here's the final takeaway. September is National Fruits and Veggies Month, but you don't need a rainbow snack board or a curated platter in order to celebrate. What matters is your effort to create realistic habits that work in your actual real life. So this month, set one simple goal. Add one more fruit or one more veggie, however it fits. Fresh, frozen, canned, chopped, microwaved, raw, it all counts. Because when it comes to produce, perfection doesn't matter. It's the practice that does. Until next time.